like a dice game.
And maintaining the check me out, listen, life's a gamble. Although the stakes are heightened, I can handle any darkness that tries to penetrate. My light is ample, set the right example. My doctrines are divine. I live life on this earth to complete what's assigned. My mission given, I was birthed the same year as it was written. I've been fasting intermittent to strengthen my intuition. And sometimes shit you'll run out of luck. But how my dice roll from dominoes to maestros to completing life goals. My price rose as soon as I decided to never ever be misguided. I know that's indicted from the street they confided with their best friends until they seen that paperwork writing. Life's a if this connection is the price of bliss, though elation often leads to paths of righteousness. I confess, I woke up feeling blessed, no stress with the freedom to express, but sure was that. I wake up every morning thinking what I'm about to do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Hey, hey. Life is like a dice game. Hey, 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 hey.
You know what I'm saying? Life is like a, you know what I'm saying, a dice game. But you know what I'm saying? I don't gamble. You dig what I'm saying? I'd rather spend my money on stuff, you know, that pleasure me, my pleasure, you know. Women, we started out 150 dime bags in mama house, making 500 a week, thinking about dropping out. Sold dope in front of my brother, but he a doctor now. This week, Greg showed me just what that rock about. Whip game, I got a thing for cooking crack, man. And off a dub on them scribblers, I make it back, man. Feds with the IRS on me, they said the tax, man. Streets cold, ain't nothing cut though like the rap game. Do you wanna be in it, wanna be Senate? Facade wanna be winning. I said being famous from the beginning. Big rabbit Instagram wanna ban me for posting pictures. So I wake up in the morning thinking what I'm gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way. They keep changing the price of cane. Life is like a dice game. I wake up, hit the call, I think of getting something new today. Aston Martin blue today. These tripping, so I ride with that thing. Life is like a dice game.
I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain. It's the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Yeah. I never knock a brother. I'm anti-jail for real, smooth criminal skill, locked in a human flesh shell, watching get rich beside me, pushing the fly VY me, up in the passenger seat, but I see me as Haile Selassie in my kingdom, sipping Asti Spumante, drifting, reality kicks in, I need the pace to start clicking, gotta connect out in Richmond, ain't in the fam of pitching, it's on, word is born, that's my name, Big Nas, all wise and civilized, from the northern hemisphere of the earth, peace to my son and thanks to the birth of destiny, that's a name, it's going on, you know my name, Big Nas in the house, y'all, on a freestyle tip, when I finish this shit, it's sure to be a hit, this original recording hit the street by 93, was just a leak, the verse was incomplete, reconstructed the beat, so we could fuck up the street, back to the future, patch up the bloopers, match up the cadence with the back in the day, a blast of nasty nouns with Savia, don't act surprised, this ain't for advertising, showing off, I blast with mine, life is a dice roll, there's money on the ground, what's gonna happen is gonna happen, it's a gamble all around, I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today, it's gotta be a better way, to maintain is the price of fame, life is like a dice game, to maintain is the price of fame, life is like a dice game, life is like a dice game. Yo. Yeah. It's that. It's that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 It's the NAS. Yes. I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game.
And maintaining the check me out, listen, life's a gamble. Although the stakes are heightened, I can handle any darkness that tries to penetrate. My light is ample, set the right example. My doctrines are divine. I live life on this earth to complete what's assigned. faster intermittent to strengthen my intuition. And sometimes shit you'll run out of luck. But how my dice roll from dominoes to maestros to completing life goals, my price rose as soon as I decided to never ever be misguided. I know that's indicted from the shit they confided with their best friends until they seen that paperwork writing. Life's a if disconnection is the price of bliss, though elation often leads to paths of righteousness. I confess. I woke up feeling blessed, no stress, with the freedom to express, but shit was there. I wake up every morning thinking what I'm about to do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Hey, hey, life is like a dice game. Hey, 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 hey.
You know what I'm saying? Life is like a, you know what I'm saying, a dice game, but you know what I'm saying? I don't gamble. You dig what I'm saying? I'd rather spend my money on stuff, you know, that pleasure me, my pleasure, you know. We started out 150 dime bags in mama house, making 500 a week, thinking about dropping out. Sold dope in front of my brother, but he a doctor now. This weed, Greg showed me just what that rock about. Whip game, I got a thing for cooking crack, man. And off a dub on them scribblers, I make it back, man. Feds with the IRS on me, they said the tax, man. Streets cold, ain't nothing cut though like the rap game. Do you wanna be in it, wanna be Senate? Facade, wanna be winning. I said being famous from the beginning. Big rabbit, Instagram wanna ban me for posting pictures. So I wake up in the morning thinking what I'm gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to keep changing the price of cane. Life is like a dice game. I wake up, hit the call, I think of getting something new today. Aston Martin blue today. You tripping, so I ride with that thing. Life is like a dice game. I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Yeah. I never knock a brother. I'm anti-jail for real. Smooth criminal skill locked in a human flesh shell. Watching get rich beside me. Pushing the fly BY me. Up in the passenger seat. But I see me as Haile Selassie in my kingdom. Sipping Asti Spumante. Drifting. Reality kicks in. I need the pace to start clicking. Gotta connect out in Richmond. Ain't in the fam of pitching. It's on. Word is born. That's my name, Big Nas. All wise and civilized. From the northern hemisphere of the earth. Peace to my son and thanks to the birth of destiny. That's a name. It's going on. You know my name. Big Nas in the house, y'all. On a freestyle tip. When I finish the shit, it's sure to be a hit. This original recording hit the street by 93. Was just a leak. The verse was incomplete. Reconstructed the beat so we could fuck up the street. Back to the future. Patch up the bloopers. Match up the cadence with the back in the day. A blast of nasty nouns with Savia. Don't act surprised. This ain't for advertising. Showing off. I blast with mine. Life is a dice roll. There's money on the ground. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's a gamble all around. I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Life is like a dice game. Yo. Yeah. It's that. It's that. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game.
And maintaining the check me out, listen. Life's a gamble. Although the stakes are heightened, I can handle any darkness that tries to penetrate. My light is ample, set the right example. My dark dreams are divine. I live life on this earth to complete what's assigned. My mission given. I was birthed the same year as it was written. I've been fasting intermittent to strengthen my intuition. And sometimes shit you'll run out of luck. But how my dice roll from dominoes to maestros to completing life goals, my price rose as soon as I decided to never ever be misguided. I know that's indicted from the street they confided with their best friends until they seen that paperwork writing. Life's a if this connection is the price of bliss, though elation often leads to paths of righteousness. I confess. I woke up feeling blessed, no stress, with the freedom to express, but shit was that. I wake up every morning thinking what I'm about to do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. Hey.
Yo. Yeah. It's that. It's that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 It's the NAS. Yes. I wake up every morning thinking what we gonna do today. It's gotta be a better way to maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game. To maintain is the price of fame. Life is like a dice game.
And maintaining check me out, listen, life's a gamble. Although the stakes are heightened, I can handle any darkness that
Hello everyone, my name's Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is April 3rd, 2023. And yes, I do believe that the next stop for Bitcoin is 38K. I do believe that whatever corrections we were to see from this range that we're in right here are complete. I believe so, okay? And there are a few reasons why. I'm going to get into that during this this episode. I understand that last time we met during the live stream on Friday, I was telling you to watch out for this move right here where we would break this range down to 25, okay? And I gave some pretty compelling reasons for why that was a likely move, but it didn't happen. And, you know, in terms of looking at things in terms of probabilities, we understand even if the probability is high, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen. You know, I was adamant about seeing this right here as a falling or a rising wedge that broke down, okay? I shared this in some notes over the weekend, and it made sense to me, right? You can actually take this wedge and extend it like so, okay? Let's try that again. That was terrible. Like this, okay? And, you know, a falling or a rising wedge breaks down to the origin, okay? That's one way to look at it. You know, and I gave you the whole Elliott wave sort of reasoning for that. But to be honest, one, we didn't really break this wedge to the downside. I know if you're zoomed in, you think we broke it right here, but we didn't. As you can see, when you zoom out and you draw it properly, you can see that we just wicked right below and that we were teetering on the edge, right? precariously sort of risking breaking down. This is why a lot of analysts were saying 25K. I wasn't the only one. 25K is a likely retracement. 25K is a likely retest. Obviously, we have this 270-day resistance that was broken, retested here, but was that enough? That was the question. So I do now, at this point, where we are, think that we're not going back to 25K. We're going up to 38, actually. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why that is, all right? And let me not wait and show you this. If you don't already know, some prominent major high cap altcoins are breaking out like big time. Dogecoin just broke out a few minutes ago, okay? And thus far, literally 30 minutes ago, or no, last hour. So, this is the second hourly candle. So an hour plus ago, it's already up 34% in less than about 90 minutes, okay? So this is happening. And, this stuff never happens in a vacuum, especially for these mid to high cap altcoins, right? Shiba Inu also broke out. It broke out at around the same time. It's already up about 10%. This stuff is happening. So these massive breakouts don't occur in a vacuum, as we know. It usually front runs, right, in a bull market. The altcoins front run Bitcoin, not the other way around, because altcoins are more volatile. That's just how bull markets work. So do expect Bitcoin to follow suit. Okay, this is another reason. This is the obvious, just slap you in the face reason why I believe, okay, you could do the analysis, and the analysis says that it was likely that you came down to retest. But right now, as it stands, if you look at this as a 5 waves up, 3 waves down zigzag, you're good to go. Okay, this seems like it was some sort of corrective pattern where you get 5 waves correctively and a combination of 3 waves correctively, right, to counter those 5 waves, right, in a zigzag, and this is your breakout. Okay, why is 38 my target? I'm going to reiterate that really quickly. Go on the higher time frame, even higher actually. Let's go on the daily time frame. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Very simple target practice or target analysis, right? Pattern analysis, where you take the height of this inverse head and shoulders. The most obvious thing. I love obvious analysis, okay? There are so many things that could be going on, but I like really applying Occam's razor, where, the simplest, most obvious thing is most likely, okay? Because then you can get lost in the sea of possibilities. Everything's possible, not everything's probable. So as traders, I think we want to really focus on what's probable, okay? So you go and take the height of this inverse head and shoulders, you superimpose it from the site of breakout, and that's how you get your 38K target. This is why I'm saying Bitcoin to 38K. Also, for those of you who understand Elliott wave theory, this is very likely a wave 1, wave 2. It's quite obvious, actually, right? Look at the time it took to go up, the time it took to go down. They're about the same, about 32 days each, right? This is a 0.5 to 618 retracement of this, okay? If you take your Fibonacci extension tool from the bottom of this purported wave 1 to the top retracement of wave 2, what do you get? Actually, this is the orthodox high right here, I think. Is it? Let's see. Right here. Okay, anyway, you get approximately this region of interest, which should be your next target. Why? Between the 1618 and the 2 Fibonacci extension is because this is where typical wave 3 extensions land, between the 1618 and the 2 Fibonacci extension of wave 1 retracement of wave 2. Very likely that 38K is the next target for Bitcoin, okay? 38K, not 30K, not 32K, 38K. From there, I can see us put in some consolidation like this, okay? And why? is this more likely than not? Remember, today is the 3rd. When's the next full moon? It's in 3 days. What do we know about full moons and new moons? According to the research, okay, and this is research that's been derived or based off of 50 plus years of market data, right, in traditional markets. According to the research, you get a local market bottom at the full moon, or 3 days at 0 to 3 days at after the full moon. So basically at the full moon or 3 days subsequent to that. So wouldn't be surprised if we hit the target of 38K and within the next few hours, all right, and then proceeded to put in maybe a 48, 72 hour retracement to find another bottom here, okay? And maybe it's a little more aggressive and it comes down like this, right? Retesting this resistance as support. You see what I mean? Okay, so this is pretty much what I'm seeing on the charts, why I'm seeing it. Guys, if you appreciate a live stream that doesn't go into, a million ads, not trying to sell you anything, not talking about my cat or some random thing, talking to you about what you came to, hear about, which is my take on Bitcoin, where it's going, price predictions, all that shit, then like, share, and subscribe. I do this on purpose. Like, I do watch other live streams where they just talk shit, and that's cool. Sometimes I feel like just listening to nothing, but sometimes I really feel like listening to analysis, and, people have really diluted live streams where you get a very small percentage of that as analysis, and the rest is just filler. Other than my intro, where I play music to get me started, to kind of gather people on stream and to, before I start live streaming, there's no filler. I get straight into Bitcoin. I get straight into, the topic at hand. So if you guys appreciate that, like, share, and subscribe. All right. So that's Bitcoin. That's where I think it's going. That's why I think it's going there. 38K is my next target. Now let's look at what is the cause for all of this, okay? A lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, it's because, there's a news article that said Bitcoin's doing this, and so, or, Elon Musk, tweeted about Dogecoin, so it's going up. No, it's just, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Anyway, hello, Akanksha, what's up? Let's go, hell yeah, let's go, finally, let's get some major moves in this market. Akanksha says it's taking a lot more time than I previously thought. You and I both. These things tend to, I think. I was thinking about it. I'm looking at my whiteboard right now in my office, and it says, projected Bitcoin top February 19, 2023, and I laughed because so many times we're like, oh, this is what my analysis says in terms of timing, but obviously it's off by 60 days, 90 days, whatever, but that's just part of doing analysis, and that may not even be bad analysis. That's just how it goes when you're trying to time really large moves in the market. So, Kanshi says, something's a little off. So something's a little off. You know what? I don't know. It could be that, this stagnation, this lack of movement continues longer than we thought. But I don't think so. I still believe that once we've finally breached 30K, it looks like a different market. It feels like a different market. We're finally able to go parabolic. And the moves and the changes and the rate of change is drastically different than it has been prior to 30K. This is my feeling. These are my thoughts. We'll see, obviously, just like any analysis, we have to do our best, do the analysis, and then see how it plays out, right? So we'll see about that. Hi, Michael. What's up? Michael says, you still think we can go to 25,288? No, I don't think so. I just talked about that. If you rewind, you'll see I think this is an important level, but it may be that this was sufficient and I was right the first time, okay? Because right now, as it stands on the smaller time frame, looking at this level, I don't see this breaking down. I see this breaking up. And if this breaks up, what I see is us hitting 38K, and then once we hit 38K, I see us doing something like this, and then actually continuing from there, okay? And then actually, let's see, once we hit this area, perhaps we do something like this. I really don't know. At this point, this is all how, okay? I will relegate all of the small time frame movements, if this is a wave 4, if this is a wave 2, all that stuff, to how. I think that's a low probability affair in terms of trying to track exactly every last move, right? Obviously, in real time, we can do that with a decent amount of, success, right? I have most of my trades I'm not touching. It's just, playing defense and waiting for these big moves. But I have 1 or 2 trades where I use for payroll, where I use for expenses, and I'm trading actively, right? So when I told you about that 25K, I actually got in a short at the top, and I shorted it down, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel right about this. This is not showing weakness. I took profit, flipped it to a long, okay? That's a payroll trade, okay? Because this is my full-time gig. So I have to, make money consistently, and sometimes I have to trade these big moves. And typically, I don't even worry about, small moves, 5-6%. I'm not doing that. Like, it's not worth the trouble. But when I told you 25K, double digits, I'm like, I can do that. Let's do it. And so I got into a short, and I flipped the short long down here because I was like, this is not right. This is not weak. This is not breaking down, okay? And another reason I felt that it wasn't breaking down is because I looked at the DXY, okay? The DXY is indeed what we should be looking at to understand why we get certain moves in these risk-on assets like Bitcoin, like cryptos, yeah? And so, just to answer your question, Michael, no, I do not believe at this point in time, looking at this chart, that this 25K level is going to be revisited. Because if it was going to be revisited, this is where you break down and revisit it. If you break up above this, remember how it works. These 14 days or so of activity now become support because you broke above it, retest it. This now becomes support. This region is now that much more inaccessible. Okay, obviously, if you go on a higher time frame, you can have these kinds of reaccumulations and still break down below them. But even on a higher time frame, I would say that's unlikely because when you break this, remember, you're not just breaking anything. Like, it's a 270-day resistance, and it was retested. The question was not whether it was retested at all, is whether this retest was sufficient. This is what we were posing, right? And if it was indeed sufficient, the chart is going to tell you. And as it stands, right, where we're at right now, the chart is saying, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with, let's see, let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. As it stands, this chart saying that 270 days was retested a few times, not once, not twice, but over the course of 36 hours. It was retested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times over the course of 36 hours. That's on average once every 6 hours. If it's okay with the chart, it's okay with me. I'm not going to dictate how price action should look. Okay, this is the trick. We don't necessarily know, and we have to know enough to know that a lot of things can look different. Like I was so sold on that idea of 25K, like for so many reasons. I saw the fractal, right, of this rounded top and then the breakout and whatever I showed you on the smaller time frame or in the higher time frame, right? This rounded top, this breakout, retest. Rounded top, breakout, retest. But it doesn't look like this is happening, right? Because this looks more likely right now. Okay, won't be surprised if we just moon to 38K. And I'm talking in the next few hours. Not like it's going to take a long time. Because remember, the full moon is on the 6th. So you have to hit your target and then start retracing for the 6th. Okay, so those are my thoughts. Now, let's look at the Y in terms of the DXY. Okay, not like, oh, it's because rates were cutting like this and like, the Fed. No. The market mover is the DXY. Something happened in the DXY that is very compelling, and I'm going to show you. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. All right, DXY has been in this channel. We've been talking about it, and we've been pointing out the fact that we have a gap, okay? And remember, this is not the CME. People who are in crypto who love to talk about CME gaps and say, this CME gap is present here. It's going to be filled, and these always fill. Do you realize? Let's actually show this. Instead of talking about it, let's just show it. Because we're on the internet, right? We can show things quite quickly. Do you realize that the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, isn't even the largest player in terms of futures? You guys do realize that, right? Like, look at the open interest. Let's go to open interest. I'm on CoinGlass, okay? And it's not even close to it's not even close to the biggest player, okay? Go on open interest futures. Okay, and what you can see here, is it this one? Let's see. Yes, okay. What you can see here really clearly is that the biggest player in all of open interest is Binance. Almost twice as much as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Okay, I know some traders, some analysts, they pretty much, they're 90% of their strategy is talking about the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, what they're doing, what their traders are doing, how their traders are so clever, and how their traders don't often lose. And so whatever they're doing, we should be doing too. Understand that they're not even the biggest players, right? Their open interest is almost half, a little more than half of what is on Binance, okay? So if you really want to look at what's going on in terms of futures open interest, what's moving crypto markets, look at Binance, right? You can see it here, right? It has a lot more open interest than CME, okay? So just wanted to point that out. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I know a lot of people just say stuff like, oh, CME, CME, CME. Maybe in the past it was the fact. Not anymore. Not even close. Okay, so the DXY. So I was talking about this gap here. And unlike the crypto markets, unlike Bitcoin, these gaps always fill. So what happened? We came up in 3 waves. That's corrective. We know that. So we're not surprised when we come down and correct and retrace that entire move, right? Because we came up correctively, we come down correctively. That's correction, counter correction, okay? So we have, let's call it A or W. It doesn't matter, right? Let's just stick with A. Let's call this B. Let's call this B right here, okay? And let's call this C. Why do I want to call that C? Okay. Okay. If I call that C, understand that that means this move, this 3-wave correction, this consolidation, this channel is done. And what does that mean? That means we can continue. That means that whatever this was, drawdown, downtrend, impulse, redistribution, impulse. That is huge. Do you understand what that means, right? That means more strong downside. For the past, let's see, 12 days. And this coincides beautifully with what Bitcoin's been doing for the past 12 days. Bitcoin's been in this range for the past 12 days. Why? Well, simply because the DXY has been in a range. For the past 12 days. And this range has been redistributive, right? Why do we know it's redistributive? Because right now, as it stands, we have an impulse, we have some consolidation, and it seems as if this was complete. We are going to, what's the word I'm looking for? We're going to give really good validation why this move is complete in a second. So just stick with me. If this was the case, so trend, accumulation, or sorry, not accumulation, distribution or redistribution, and then the trend continues, right? Bitcoin's a mirror image. In Bitcoin, you've got trend, reaccumulation, trend. Do you see how, like, if you look at the DXY and you flip it, because the DXY is the market underlying asset. The US dollar is the underlying asset. The world reserve currency, what most people use to buy Bitcoin, is quite literally the underlying asset. So if this goes up, this goes down. If this goes down, this goes up. It's just basic math. So what we're seeing is a mirror image of what's on the DXY. And what's on the DXY is quite clear, right? Now let's focus on this, because one could say, well, Dean, who's to say that this doesn't just keep going ad infinitum? Good question. Let's go on the smaller time frames, okay? And this is something actually we said on Friday was likely. We said it was likely that on Sunday evening we gap up. Remember I said that. We gap up and complete the move up. And after that, we do some distribution and then continue the trend down. And why do we know with a high degree of probability that this is an impulse? Okay, let's go on even smaller time frame. Okay, with a high degree of probability, we know that this is an impulse because it looks like it. Okay, it looks like a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Really concerted wave 5, but it looks the part. Okay, wave 3 is the longest of the Elliott waves. It's the most impulsive of the Elliott waves. Wave 2 and wave 1 are approximately the same time. The wave 2 retraces to about the 0.5 to 618 of wave 1. Wave 5 is about the 618 of wave 3, retracement of wave 4. Everything checks out for this to be a tried and true bona fide Elliott wave, okay? And so I'm looking at this and saying, oh, that's it. And the other good thing about this and why we can leave this range is the fact that we filled the gap. Remember, I said before we weren't going to leave this range and we could expect to stay in it, and that's why I even drew the magenta thing. I knew we were going to range because we created a gap and we were down here. I'm like, we're going to come back up at some point, fill this gap, after which we can then start going back down. And this is what happened. Now, looking at our indicators, looking at our momentum indicators, we can see on the 4-hourly time frame, you're crossed bearish and you're going down. And right now, you are at the precipice. You are at the base, the support of this range. So whatever happens here, if you break down, you're going down like hard. Okay. So what do we know about breaking support and breaking resistances? Like, this is back to the basics. Let's go on even smaller time frame and let's focus on this. Okay. Actually, let's okay, this is perfect. Okay, so breaking supports, breaking resistances, how does it work? First, you have to do the initial break of structure. Okay, you break the level first, after which you retest that level, okay, as resistance in a corrective move. Okay, so this you want to see it come back up in 3 waves, in some version of 3 waves. You want to stay there, and then you want to shoot down. I'm going to show you an example of how this happened in Bitcoin, but not in the same way, right? It was more bullish. Okay, let's go on the smaller time frames. And this actually has some, good quality analysts fooled today, okay? Because a lot of people are doing this today, right? Or yesterday, they were doing this yesterday, and they're probably still doing this today. Let me show you. This is the analysis, and this is the limitation of only being able to draw lines on charts, okay, and not having any more context, okay, not being able to know the wider context of price action, just being able to draw lines on charts and being over reliant on pattern analysis. Pattern analysis is cool, but if that's all you've got, you're always going to fall for these. This is always going to confuse you. I'm going to show you what. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. So, here's the issue with pattern analysis. So, rising wedges, then you study how often they break up or they break down. That's great. You have your probabilities. But this is your breakdown, right, of this rising wedge on a smaller time frame, okay? You get the breakdown. So, you're, okay, this is done. But you're not like a beginner, okay? You're not a novice trader. So you understand these moves always happen where you break support, you got to retest it, and then after you retest it, that's the breakout. So you're a savvy trader, you're waiting for that retest and that breakout. Lots of intermediate pattern traders to advanced pattern traders are going short right here. And they should, based off of, the theory of retesting important support lost as resistance and then going short. But what's likely to happen here is this. Breakdown, retest, breakdown, reclamation. You see that all the time, okay? And this is what they would call a fake out, but there's no faking anything out. If you broaden your horizons, okay, and you get off the smaller time frames, what you could do is this. Actually look at it more holistically as a wider range rising wedge, okay? And then it doesn't look so precarious. It doesn't look like it's the breakdown happened. It just looks like a bit of wicking. Do you see? And because it's a little arbitrary, are you looking at it on the 4-hourly or are you looking at it on the 15-minute? This is what I'm saying. It's not very... There's a lot of misinformation that can happen when you're only, your only sort of tool in technical analysis is drawing lines on charts and doing pattern analysis. So, no disrespect to pattern analysts, and I use pattern analysis on this on this channel all the time. It's just, again, it's limited. It's limited in those particular ways. Okay. So back to the DXY. I was saying how you broke down like Bitcoin, but you retested that broken support in 3 waves. So you retested it in a corrective way. But in Bitcoin, when you broke down, what did you do? You retested it with a fully impulsive move. Do you guys see that? Like, I guess I'd have to redraw that. Let me redraw this real quick. Okay, let me not be lazy and actually just do it. It was something like this, yeah? Yeah, it was something like this. Okay, so you broke down, then you came and you consolidated, and you retested it in 5 waves. If you go on the 5-minute time frame, you should probably be able to see it. You retested this level with an impulse, okay? It's still a corrective impulse, but it's an impulse. It's not a flat correction. Very important. It's a subtle distinction, but it's important if you understand just that this is likely to reclaim this level and not find resistance here and break down to 25K, because that's the target, right, of that breakdown. And eventually, right, obviously you're gonna have support here, you're gonna have support at the bottom of the range, but eventually you're going down to 25K. So that's the idea. So yeah, if you're looking at the DXY, what I'm trying to say is this, that it's quite bearish, and it did a bearish retest of this broken support level as resistance, come back, and this is a flat correction, quite clearly. You know the definition of a flat correction: 3 waves up, 3 waves down, minimum retracement of the 786. So you know there's nothing bullish about this. This is eventually going down and going to lose this level. So that's the DXY. This is why you should be quite bullish on stocks and cryptos today, just looking and analyzing this range right here. Hope that was helpful, guys. So that's the DXY. Okay, let's have a quick look at Bitcoin dominance, because like I said in the beginning of the stream, if you're paying attention, you're seeing breakouts, like serious breakouts. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. How do I undo that? Okay, good. Okay, Dogecoin thus far is the biggest one to break out. Let's see. Let's see. 1 second. So we've got Dogecoin. What else do we have? That's it thus far. Okay, for the big breakouts, that's it thus far. Okay, Ethereum's starting to move. But essentially what you're seeing is these altcoins are moving. SHIB starting to move. So if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we should be able to see that reflected in the Bitcoin dominance chart. Remember, the Bitcoin dominance isn't its own thing, and then the altcoins and and the altcoins and Bitcoin kind of respond. It's a reflection of what's going on, the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins, right? Just reflected in one chart, easy to see. So you don't have to just go up and down a watch list. And what do you see with Bitcoin dominance now? Quite simply, you've been in a range, and you've been up and down in this range. And the context of all of this, remember, is that you are at a high time frame resistance of about 3+ years, okay? So for 3+ years, Bitcoin dominance has been going up. Oh, let's try that again. Something happened. 1 second. Let's try that again. Okay, for 3+ years, Bitcoin dominance has been up and down in this range. And so you're at major resistance. You should expect at this level for us to come down, okay? If not break this channel, at the very least come back down to the support of this channel. And that's what you're getting right here, okay? You're getting that on a smaller time frame. On a smaller time frame, you can see that this likely distribution range is playing out and breaking down, okay? This is the mini distribution range, up and down and up and down and up and down. You can count 3 degrees of AB basing in a pivot if you like, or you can look at, Wyckoff distribution. It doesn't matter. Same difference. And it's finally, I misdrew that, or I didn't draw that correctly. That's more like it. You can see this breaking down, okay? And a breakdown of Bitcoin dominance means altcoins are gaining against Bitcoin and market dominance. So we should not be surprised to see a Dogecoin up 30% today, and Ethereum up, what's Ethereum up? Only 2%. Meanwhile, right, Bitcoin's up 0.18%, ADA's up 3.72%. Expect this to continue. BAT's up 4.27%. It's a fucking party. You should expect the party because Bitcoin dominance is telling you that. You shouldn't have to look up and down these watch lists. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's Bitcoin. That's the DXY. That's Bitcoin dominance. This is why I'm expecting higher. Specifically for Bitcoin, I'm expecting 38K. For Ethereum, let me tell you my Ethereum target. because a lot of people are keen on Ethereum, I know, as well. So, and I have a trade for what am I trying to say? I have a payroll trade for Ethereum, meaning I'm going to take profits early in this particular trade. But again, my strategy for the bull market is just to leave it. I have another Ethereum trade I'm not touching. Just I'm letting it run its course for the duration of the bull market. It's good to pay yourself on certain trades and other trades not, right? If you need the money, if you need cash flow, understand that, paying yourself is great, right? You trade a little shorter term, and then you could have another entirely different position where you just let it ride. Okay, just different strategies, for different needs. Okay, so I expect Ethereum to first get to this $2,000 level, okay, at which point it will complete this pattern. Okay, here's me using patterns again. Patterns are extremely useful. You just have to know when to use them and how to use them. And they shouldn't be the only feather in your cap, so to speak. Okay, so this is clearly a head and shoulders. Or sorry, did I say head and shoulders? This is clearly a cup and handle. This is a textbook cup and handle pattern. Okay, so the cup and handle pattern, the target is just taking the deepest height of the cup or the handle, superimposing it from the side of breakout, which I believe is 2,000. So I think ETH to 2,000 in the immediate short term. And then at 2,000, you get some sort of consolidation that takes you to the next major target, which is 4,578. And you can see the target of this cup and handle is just the top right here. Let's try that again. Nice. The top of this range right here. Okay. So you're essentially breaking out of a cup and handle, forming a new cup and handle, and then going on and probably forming a new pattern. And I always say this. It's a sequence or the word is a chain reaction. That's it. A chain reaction of bullish patterns, of bullish circumstances, then that break bullish and create more bullish circumstances that break bullish, that create more bullish circumstances, and so on and so forth. That's the definition of a bullish impulse, and the same is true for a bearish impulse, except they're bearish conditions. So you have head and shoulders breaking down into more head and shoulders, breaking down into M patterns, breaking down into whatever else other bearish patterns you want to discuss. So this is what I'm seeing on Ethereum. First 2,000, then whatever I said, 40 something, right? Up here somewhere. Okay, and the reason is, and why is it not necessarily clever to take profit at 2,000? It's quite clear that at 2,000, you're likely to get some reaction, but it's quite clear that the move isn't finished. So I would not overreact to us hitting that $2,000 level, even on the short time frame. That's just me, not financial advice, or I guess it is financial advice, right? I told myself I'd stop saying that. This is so stupid. So JY says, you call that BTC retrace Sunday, you were too underrated, Dean. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to come lower, but, and I was actually in a short, but I took profits early because it just showed a lot of strength. And so I'm happy. I'm more happy. I'm never happier to be wrong when I call for Bitcoin to go down. Let me rephrase that. I'm happy to be wrong, especially when I call for Bitcoin to go down. 25K was compelling. It really, really was a compelling target. But I think it's all, what we're in right now is unlikely to break down. I think it's more likely than not to break up and follow what the rest of the market is doing, right? What altcoins are doing. Even HBAR. HBAR is difficult to trade. It's a difficult, nasty little altcoin that is reluctant to break out. It's like it has something against me. I'm like, dude, just break out. Why are you looking for lower? Anyway, I guess now what we can do with the time remaining is just go through some altcoins and then just call it a stream. So JY says Elon just changed Twitter's logo to Doge. Are you kidding me? He did? Of course he would. Meme coin season has started. Let's fucking go. Yeah, happy days. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, props to Elon. He's a good sport. He likes to play these games. I'm down, especially if it pumps my bags. I'm not buying his cars though. So yeah, let's have a quick another look at Bitcoin, and then let's see on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, yeah, I see this as being my consolidation reversal on the small time frame, a breakout, retest, and then a continuation. Okay, that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Smaller time frame. Let's do smaller time frame today. Or let's see. Let's just zoom out. 4-hourly time frame. So this is Cardano. This is literally just a series of consolidation reversals up and to the right. That's super bullish. Okay? Super bullish. This A wave, B wave. A wave, B wave. A wave, B wave. I see 2 degrees of baby basing. First degree. Second degree. And a pivot. All the while, it's been going up and to the right. This is going to pop hard. Like, this is going to go. And actually, like, look at the context of this. It shouldn't be lost on us to understand what's happening. This break is a break of this. This up and to the right consolidation reversal is a break of this nasty, ugly, down and to the right consolidation of the bear market. Okay, that lasted 300 some odd days. Oh my gosh, how many times did I get stopped out trying to build positions for Cardano? Okay, during the course of 250 days, 230 days, whatever. Okay, that is going to be vicious. And the next target is going to be up here at 75 cents. Okay, it's just going to fill this gap right here. 75 cents. So that's Cardano. It's nice. Algorand. I think you're just gonna get to the top of this right here. First, form a W pattern or a cup and handle, whatever you want to call it, and after that consolidation, break out again. Okay, series of breakouts, series of a chain reaction of bullish, of bullish moves. Okay, here you have again another similar move where you're looking to get to this neckline. So that's R-Weave. R-Weave's looking to get to this neckline. You're putting in a series of corrective patterns, right? Actually, you can see it here. 1, 2, pivot. So all of this you can read as 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot. Okay, basic attention token. I drew that line because that was obviously resistance. We have a data point here, a data point there. It seems as if you got to this level or close to the level and you rejected. But I think what happens here is you put in wave 1, wave 2. Now you're going to pop out for wave 3, probably retest it as wave 4. Wave 3 is not going to come up that high. Probably going to come up here. Retest it as support for wave 4 and then go. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing with basic attention token. One of the reasons we can say with a high degree of probability that this is a wave 1, wave 2 situation, as usual, you can see that there's 1, 2 daily candles up, 1, 2 daily candles down. Okay, you have to, when you're counting these, it's a good idea to count the middle, or the what would this be called? Count the candle that's in the middle, the candle that changes from up to down twice, just so you split it. Does that make sense? Because if you go on the smaller time frames, you can get a little more. Let's say you didn't do that. You would count 1, 2, 3, and then you'd count just 1. It wouldn't make sense. So you count 1, 2, up, 1, 2, down. Then you understand that it's highly likely that the time it took to go up and the time it took to go down are more or less equal. And then you can see that the retracement is about between the 0.5 and the 618, right? So you have, you're maintaining the golden pocket. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Okay, that's what I'm saying with that. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. Blur is one of my favorites because the potential for blur here, given that there's no price history, it was hard to get it. Very difficult to build positions here because this is all corrective. It's all corrective. Is super volatile. It's unforgiving. But once you have positions with stops in profit that are secure, and you just let this ride, I mean, this is going to be huge profits. Huge profits for blur, whether on spot or leverage. Obviously, I'm talking about leverage, but spot too. It's going to be big. Okay, bonk finally going to break out. I mean, everything has been kind of sleepy, but this has particularly been kind of stagnant. But you can see here, you're creating a cup and handle or W pattern that you're about to break out of. So that's exciting. Okay. Dent, you're looking at this move being 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down, breakout. Okay, that's how I'm seeing it. If you want to look at the whole thing, you zoom out a little bit, you can see this as a 5 waves up, 3 waves down move. So you have first degree, second degree, pivot. Okay, 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot. It's quite consistent. These alarms that you see on the chart, it's just for me to know where I need to put my stops into profit. So when the price gets there, I'm in the green, I'm in the money enough on that position to then make it a risk-free trade. And then I usually take out the margin and then put it somewhere else. That's all trading strategy, risk management, stuff like, this is how you can trade. You don't have to be perfect, but even when I lose, I make money. So as I've been getting hit, stops getting hit, or let's say I misread something, usually my stops are in profit, so I make money. I re-enter the trade, maybe with a larger position, right? And it also makes up for any losses that I take where my stops weren't in profit, all that stuff. So I could still keep growing my account. There's so many different strategies you can do with good risk management to win at a high degree of to win at a higher rate and to still stay in the game, because the name of the game is to stay in the game. Even when you're using really high leverage and you're taking a lot of trades and all that stuff. It's not easy, but those are some of my strategies. Anyway, Dogecoin, yeah, this one broke out. We know you're at resistance right here, but as we can see, it's likely that you get some sort of consolidation on top of this resistance right here for some continuation. So that's what I'm seeing with Dogecoin. Just a note, if you're the type of trader that is over-reliant on indicators like the stochastic RSI indicator, which is, actually our favorite momentum indicator on this channel, you will be confused, okay? You will be confused because, remember, when in a trending market, and we're actually not even trending yet, we're just starting to trend, but in trending markets, the high time frame, the middle time frames, like let's say, how do I explain this? If it's a monthly or weekly move, or a move that best can be depicted on the monthly or weekly time frame, right, from 0 to 100, or from beginning to end, then any smaller time frames are going to show overheating. So like, let's say it's a bullish trend, right? You're going to see a lot of activity in the oversold category. So it's going to be a little misleading. If it's a bearish trend, you're going to see a lot of activity in the if it's a bullish trend, you're going to see overbought activity. If it's a bearish trend, you're going to see a lot of oversold activity. If you're not on the right time frame. But if you're on the right time frame, and that depends, like for instance, you flip on the monthly for Dogecoin, and not every asset has the capability of showing you this, because not every asset has enough trading history. But for instance, on the monthly on Dogecoin, you can see quite clearly that the momentum indicator is a little more accurate in showing you that this is a monthly trend that's likely to continue, right? And it's in process of continuing, and it's just showing you that it's going up for a couple more months at least, right? Does that make sense? If you go on anything smaller than the monthly time frame, it's hard to tell, because you're going to get a lot of up and down activity while it's still going up. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, remember to use your tools in context. Like, there is no substitute for reading price action and understanding the context. That's basically the takeaway. If you are over-reliant on indicators, you're gonna miss the best moves. You're always going to have a lot of confusion outside of, a few small time frames, and on occasion a few large time frames. You don't want to do that. Okay, that's Dogecoin. Let's go back on the daily. Polkadot. This is particularly bullish. I remember trying to accumulate positions of Polkadot during the bear market. It was quite challenging, because this was down into the right accumulation. But now, what you're going to see is a lot of these down into the right, a lot of these assets that accumulated down into the right are going to pop even harder, right? Because they have so much pent up buying pressure, and people were able to buy these assets at such a discounted rate. The next target I'm seeing for Polkadot is up here at this order block right here. So about 1160, 1170. Okay, so I think you come up here, and again, this is simply the target of this inverse head and shoulders, as you can see right here. Okay, so this inverse head and shoulders breaks up. This is your next target, and now you're forming another kind of inverse head and shoulders, a bigger one, maybe with the neckline over here or something like that, and then a bigger one, and so on and so forth. This chain reaction of bullish patterns, bullish moves. So that's Polkadot, and you can see it's right on the cusp of this breakout that we're seeing throughout the markets today, which is great. Okay, DYDX, you can see that it's right about to break out right here. And this is essentially some sort of inverse head and shoulders where, I mean, I don't know how you characterize inverse head and shoulders like with technical accuracy, because this left shoulder and this right shoulder are deeper than the head. I don't know if that counts. In any case, it's a bullish pattern because you're testing the bottoms, and every single time you're coming back up, okay, to the top of the range. And now you had a retest of this neckline right here, whatever this is, whatever you want to call it. You retested this neckline, and so you're popping out in this bull flag right here. So the next target's up here somewhere. So that's DYDX. Let's see. Okay, ETH we talked about. Hedera Hashgraph H bar. I complained about this earlier in the stream. It's just really, really, it's annoying. I've gotten stopped out. This was my most recent stop out, and it's like, you should have turned around. I'm still mad at it. In any case, this is another one that consolidated down into the right, broke out of this consolidation channel, retested it right here, and you get another bullish retest. So what I'm seeing here is 1, 2, this is 3, and then breakout. So I'm seeing this right here. If you go on the 4-hourly, you can see what I'm talking about. It's a zigzag. You can see a version of 5 waves up, 3 waves down to minimum 0.5, right? Maximum 618. And also you're retesting the neckline of whatever this is right here. There we go. So 5 waves up, 3 waves down, consolidate, breakout. So yeah, this better give me a good breakout because I deserve it. I worked so hard on that particular asset, making that entry. Okay, Chainlink. This is exactly where we left it last time. It's still in this bear market accumulation channel, but it's just breaking out of it, okay? If you're patient with Chainlink, you will be rewarded. This is going to do great things. All of this, the past 300 days or so, means that the breakout was going to be that much. Wow, 327 days of accumulation. So remember, we want to understand these. Didn't mean to do that. We want to understand these modes of price action. It's not fun. I'm not going to lie and say it's fun. It's not glamorous. Nobody wants to talk about it. But it's very profitable. Like, very, very profitable. Because if you buy during these times, okay, and your high time frame analysis is accurate enough to understand that it's indeed a consolidation reversal and not some redistribution, which would suck, right? It would suck if you'd waited 300 and some odd days, got into this, and then realized it was just a consolidation for more of the same. But it's unlikely, right? We've done the high time frame analysis, and this is more likely than not an accumulation of the supply dumped on the market at these levels, and so you're going to get a breakout. So because Chainlink, so this is counterintuitive, but hear me out. Because Chainlink actually spent the most time of all of the assets in our watch list in its accumulation channel, right? Not leaving it, not doing, any fancy moves outside of it. It just stayed in its accumulation channel for all 330 days. Expect it to have the most violent breakout. Cause, effect. Okay? And it has nothing to do with, necessarily with the fundamentals and the news and all that stuff. This is just what the chart is telling us. The chart is telling us that for the past 330 days, market participants have been able to accumulate Chainlink between the prices of $8.30 and $6.10. Okay? And they've been able to do so with volume. Okay? And so there is no reason why, once it does leave this channel, the price doesn't mark up significantly, because there's so much accumulated by pressure here, okay? Because so many people bought. Yes, some people sold, but that's all been bought up as well, okay? So that's Chainlink. Some hopium, some sort of well wishes to my Link Marines. So I know it hasn't been easy. So this lit entry, still in its bear market accumulation, kind of like Chainlink, but you can see there's not as much activity here. See, Chainlink was literally like like those sound waves, you know, waveforms of sound waves. Like, this is not as busy. You can see it's not as popular. Not as many people are buying and selling this in its accumulation period, but it's still being accumulated, and it's still looking to target the top of its accumulation channel. So lit is coming up there soon. Okay, Litecoin getting ready for its breakout. And this is one large cup and handle. Okay, so kind of like kind of like Ethereum. I expect it to come up to these levels, stop here, consolidate, and then break out of this inverse cup and handle, which has a massive target, which would be around, I can't even fit this, around 270, right? Once it breaks out of this inverse cup and handle. Again, once you leave major resistances, don't expect the price to take as long as it did before it cleared that major resistance. So this is kind of answering a conscious question. It feels like it took us forever to get all the way up here. It took us forever to get up and out of this. It's probably going to take another lifetime to get to those levels. But this is an entirely different market. The market down here and the market up there, entirely different. They feel entirely different. The rate of change of, you know, the way price moves, completely different. But yeah. So MOVR, Moon River, I think your next target is going to be up here. Let's try that again. Up here, where you create this cup and handle, and then you consolidate and you come up and you create another inverse head and shoulders, and then you break out, right? It's just a sequence of bullish patterns. And each neckline is like a good place, maybe to take profit or maybe to reaccumulate. I would say reaccumulate because you're nowhere near the end. Harmony 1 looks like it is getting ready to break out and attack this neckline right here, which would make this large inverse head and shoulders. RSR looks like you're about to make this massive cup and handle. Okay, so this is the next move I'm looking for. Obviously, breaking it down, you make this first, and then this breaks out to that, right? So again, it's a chain reaction. Sand. So this is cup and handle. You come up to here, you finish that, and then this breaks out and creates a massive cup and handle. Chain reaction. Oh, Sheep. Next target is up here. Okay, and that will create an inverse head and shoulders. And then you consolidate, and then you break out of that. So I think the next, I don't expect Sheep to stop running until it's put in about 33%. I think I've said that before. Synthetics. Another inverse head and another cup and handle that I'm seeing here. And I actually think that this is now creating a breakout. Actually, do you know what? I see this as inverse head and shoulders first. Okay. So yeah, this is an inverse head and shoulders. This is probably going to break up and out. And it's also going to create this W pattern or cup and handle, whatever you want to call it. But just a series of bullish patterns. Okay, Telcoin already broke out and now it's retesting. but you can see massive cup and handle here. Okay, Tron, very nice. One of my favorites. I've talked about this ad nauseum on the channel. One of my favorites. 600 days. The cause is 600 days. The result is going to be glorious. Absolutely glorious. Write it down for Tron. Okay. Here I see ugly inverse head and shoulders, but inverse head and shoulders nonetheless. So you get up to the neckline, you consolidate, break out. That's going to be the big move. V-chain, about to break out. Here is a massive inverse, or cup and handle. Massive cup and handle. So you've got to get to this right here to complete the pattern, right? Yeah, about 40%. 40%. XRP. Why is XRP so bullish? Well, it's just front running on most of the alts, but it's putting in a big W pattern or cup and handle, whatever you want to call it. It's at the neckline. Now you consolidate and you break out. So the next target for XRP is the height right here, which is quite sizable. By the way, this is Schubert, for those of you wondering. Schubert, one of my favorite composers, period. This guy was a genius, absolute genius. Contemporary of a lot of, famous, really prominent composers, Beethoven, Salieri, Mozart, Chopin. But, he wasn't as celebrated, especially during his life. And actually, he was poor, and he was complaining. He was always complaining why people didn't recognize him. But his contemporaries recognized him. Beethoven would always say, like, this guy's such a genius. I love his stuff. But, people didn't really understand how good he was. He's really, really, really one of the best, I believe. Okay, anyway. This is the next target for XRP. $1.05. Thereabouts. Okay. And last but not least, Silica. What do we see? Another bullish pattern. We have a cup and handle. Okay. But you have to matriculate to the top of this range. And at that point, you consolidate and then you break out. So we've seen that in a few assets where you're a bit short of the neckline, so do expect to come up a little bit, consolidate, not reject, but consolidate a bit before continuing. So that's pretty much it. So JY says, Dean, check out Doge Chain. The chart follows Doge. It's the layer 2 of Doge. Sure. Doge Chain. Let's check Doge Chain now. Look, everything is like green except H bar. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, we're pumping. H bar didn't get the message. Anyway. Doge Chain. That's hard to say. Doge Chain. Doge Chain. Okay, let's add KuCoin. Okay, so Doge Chain is pumping. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing the first thing that comes out is this is impulsive but corrective. Why? Because it went up in 5 waves, but then the subsequent move, although it respects the 0.5618 golden pocket of this 5-wave move, it obviously took a lot longer than it took to come up. So this to me is a zigzag. It's just a clear 5 waves up, Hold up, I'm looking and thinking. I don't think this is a contiguous move, actually. I don't think this is a contiguous move. It could be, but I might want to count this like so. A, B, so my first degree. A, B, my second degree. And then somewhere down here, a pivot. Or is the pivot this? This is the pivot right there. Right there. Hold up. Let's see. Yeah, this is the pivot. This is the pivot right here. Right? So that's my pivot. So that's my 2 degrees wavy basing and a pivot. That's my breakout. My next target before I can experience, well, it's obviously we're at it right here. This is what price is telling us. That this right here is the target. This is the site. This is the point at which we're going to experience some resistance. So would expect for some sort of retracement here. I don't know how. Let's zoom in to see how acute this retracement could be. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know on the smaller time frames, but wouldn't be surprised if we got a little bit of consolidation at resistance here, breakout, retest, and then continuation. Okay, but you're pretty much at that point. Yeah, I mean this is the bull market. This is alt season. You know, we're early enough where any buy below major resistance is a good buy, right? You're still below major resistance, so I think this is a good entry, as good as any. So yeah, that's Doge Chain. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. I'm just gonna sit back and. So JY says, this is my SHIB for the next cycle. Yeah, you know what? That's it. Like, you know, this is the best way to think. Like, buy these things at this point. Wait and let them make you life-changing money, you know, for an entire cycle. So, you know, when people say, oh, such and such thought it was a joke and he bought a few $100s worth of this meme coin and then it turned out to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that, right? Like, let that be you. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. I think we're going to hear a lot of different cases like that during this next cycle. So, yeah, that's it for me, guys. Take care. Hope you're well. And I will see you tomorrow. I hope we continue to pump. And I'm just going to enjoy these green candles. And I don't know, just hang out. All right, bye.